I read a story about a young boy who was asked by his aunt if he attended Sunday school the past Sunday. The boy said yes. His aunt then asked, "What did you learn?" He said, "Last week our lesson was about when Jesus went to a wedding and made water into wine. And what did you learn from this story?" The aunt inquired. After thinking for a moment, the boy said, "If you are having a wedding, make sure Jesus is there." I believe this is profound advice. It is a good thing to have Jesus at our wedding ceremonies. Indeed, it is a good thing to have Jesus everywhere that is of significance of our lives. That is the only way our lives will be worth living. The gospel today tells us that Jesus attended a wedding in Cana of Galilee. As the celebration went on and the guests are having a good time, the unexpected happened. The wine ran out. Mary, Jesus' mother, came to him with a request, saying, "They have no wine," implying, do something about it. Indeed, he did something about it. He turned water into wine. He performed a miracle. The scripture really ends with these words, "This, the first of his signs in Galilee, in Cana of Galilee. He thus revealed his glory, and his disciples put their faith in him." The Gospel of John speaks often about signs and about faith. Signs, as we all know, points to something. Road signs are very important. We all know that. They guide us, reminding us where to turn and maybe how far we must go to get to our destination. If you ignore those signs, especially when you are traveling to an unfamiliar destination, you may have a miserable experience. Well, I had an unforgettable experience when I was a first-year student at Wesley Seminary in D.C. I was living in Alexandria by then, and I go in the train. I always take the train. But this particular day, I decided to drive. I had no problem at all going, but on my way back, I didn't pay attention to the sign. I saw Richmond, and because I live off Richmond Highway, I took that turn. And on and on and on I went. And I found myself on 95. Okay, I didn't know what to do. I went several miles until I turned on some exit and pulled over at a gas station and asked for direction. And the person said, "You almost in Richmond." That was how miserable. I was so miserable, and for a couple of months, I took the train. You know, signs are very, very important pointers. Scripture is full of signs, from Genesis to Revelation, and all these signs point to Jesus, the Savior of the world. The Gospel of John records 7 significant signs from the life of Jesus Christ. Jesus chose a wedding for the first of those miraculous signs, which revealed his glory and brought forth faith in his disciples. This first sign that Jesus did points to many things about himself, revealing that he can do all things and that he can bring new no matter how little, how insignificant, how much, and utterly remaking, giving it a taste, a meaning that is beyond the best that we ourselves are capable of providing. We heard from the gospel reading that there was a wedding in Cana and Jesus was invited. We all know what goes into wedding and how stressful it could be. Months and weeks go into preparation and it involves a lot of money. Do you remember your wedding or your daughter's wedding? How much time and money? But these days, would-be couples engages the services of wedding planners who will be responsible for the smooth running of events. Every detail is organized so that things run smoothly without a glitch. But you will agree with me that it's not all well-planned weddings that run smoothly without any glitch. Maybe some invited guest names are not on the final guest list, and so they couldn't be seated promptly. Or the bridal party delayed because the limo was caught up in traffic, or any other unforeseen incidences. In Jesus' time and in his culture, weddings are very important, as is it to us today. But their celebration goes on for days and involves the whole community. Can you imagine the whole of Hampton coming to your wedding? Yeah. The wedding in Cana that Jesus was invited to was no exception. It was a 7 days event for the family and the whole community. One of the expectations was that the food and wine at such a feast would not run out until the celebration has run its course. Providing the wine was the groom's responsibility, and he was to make sure that there is plenty to drink. To run out of wine was a social disaster and embarrassment, and would be a topic of gossip for months afterwards. It is also believed that running out of wine means bad luck for the future of the married couple. Also, for the Jews, wine was a symbol of joy and abundance. To have wedding without an abundance of wine was therefore unthinkable and unacceptable. Unfortunately, for this couple, the wine ran out. There were very few other substitutes in those days without refrigeration. Juice did not last, and water was not an option. Wine was the only option, and it ran out. The situation is getting out of hand. A social disgrace is evident. Mary brings the problem to Jesus. They have no wine, she says. Jesus' initial response was, "My hour has not yet come." But the mother told the servants to do whatever he tells her. In a way, she seems to be preparing and setting the stage for a miracle to be performed. There were 6 stone jars, water jars, as we heard from the reading, each of which will hold 20 to 30 gallons of water. Jesus asked the servants to fill those jars with water. The servants did as they were told. Jesus asked them to draw some out and take to the chief steward, or the master of ceremony. Remember, it wasn't water that runs out, but wine. But the servants remembered what Jesus' mother told them, to do whatever they are told to do. When they did, the water turned into wine. In fact, it was the best wine ever been said. How many of us believe in miracles? Few of us. Few of us, right? Most of us will have trouble believing in miracles. Not because we are too modern or sophisticated, but because we are so careful, cautious, and restrained. We don't make big moves in life. We don't ask big things of God. We keep our faith to ourselves, safely tucked away in the confines of our church. We keep our prayers chastened, cautious, and careful. Perhaps it's because we think our relationship with God as a matter of what we feel, what we believe, or what we do. And we all know how limited, how frail, and finite our resources are. We have our limits, and so we find it difficult to trust the unlimited God. But Jesus still does miracles in our lives today. He still intervenes in our lives today, in our hopeless and helpless situations. That is why Jesus performed the miracle at the wedding to save this couple from huge social embarrassment. Jesus cares. That is who he is. If it matters to you, it matters to him. He cares for you personally. You know, it is true that by these world standards, we are not famous. We don't influence thousands of lives. And we are certainly not the neediest people around. If we have pain, most of us know people who have experienced more pain. Even right here in our congregation, we know people who are experiencing severe pain. If we have problems, there are always others with worse problems. If we have flu, we know someone else who has pneumonia. If we hate our job, someone is without a job. If we complain about getting no snow this winter, which I'm really happy about. Are you happy? Yeah. But if we complain that we don't have snow, some people are snowed in. Yeah, a lot of churches closed last Sunday. We had worship. A lot of churches closed last Sunday because of the heavy snowfall. There are always needs worse than ours. Far more than ours. But whatever our need, whatever our hurt, the fact of it is, if it matters to us, it matters to Jesus. If it matters to you, it matters to Jesus. Maybe we don't see that many miracles because we neither need them or we do not expect them. If we have pain, we get the pain reliever. If we are sick, we go to the doctor. If we have need, we have many different ways to see it fulfilled. These are all good interventions, though. But the whole dream of our economic infrastructure is to meet human needs. And if the needs are met, we create new ones so they too can be filled. Maybe in our relentless hunt for a needless society, we have stopped expecting God to be a God who meets our needs. But there are situations in our lives that need divine intervention. When the steward of the celebration tasted the wine, the water turned into wine, he said to the groom, "Everyone serves the good wine first, and then the inferior wine after the guests have become drunk. But you have kept the good wine until now." This miracle is a sign that through Jesus, God came among us in a new way. It is a promise that through Jesus Christ, God is pouring out on us grace upon grace in an unimaginable way. Mary tells the servants in the reading to do whatever Jesus tells them. The servants respond to what Jesus asked them to do, make all the difference. Remember, it wasn't water that brought out, it was wine. And when Jesus asked them to draw the water, they did. That is what faith is all about. Responding to the words of Jesus without doubting. Trusting that his word will be fulfilled. Trusting that he is able to transform your life. Trusting that as he transformed the water into wine of joy, he will transform us and lead us into his kingdom, where the best is not only saved for the last, but where the best lasts. May we invite Jesus into every situation of our lives, and may we open our lives to God's gift of grace, so we can experience God's overflowing abundance in our lives. In Jesus' name, amen.